Captain Vextai stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the stars. The Harmony's Edge was a good ship. It had been his home for 10 years. The blue-skinned alien loved exploring new places in space. His people, the Zelakari, were known for being smart and peaceful. They did not fight wars. They studied the stars and made maps of space. Today felt like any other day. Vextai's crew was busy doing their work. They were making maps of the Kepler 442 system. This system had 3 planets and many rocks floating in space. The crew used their tools to measure everything. They wanted to know how big the planets were and what they were made of. Nala Tik was the ship's science officer. She was very smart, even for a Zelakari. She sat at her station and watched the numbers on her screen. The numbers told her about the planets and stars. She made notes about everything she saw. This information would help other Zelakari ships that came here later. The ship moved slowly through space. It was not in any hurry. The crew had plenty of time to do their work. Vextai walked around the bridge and checked on his people. Everyone was doing their job well. The captain felt happy. This was a good mission. But then something changed. Red lights started flashing on the bridge. A loud sound came from the computers. Nala Tik looked at her screen and her face became scared. She saw something that should not be there. "Captain," she said in a worried voice, "there are ships coming toward us." Vextai ran to her station. He looked at the screen and saw 6 large ships. They were black and had sharp points. These were not friendly ships. These were hunter ships. The Korthak used ships like these to catch other people and make them slaves. "Where did they come from?" Vextai asked. "They were hiding behind the big rocks," Nala Tik said. "I could not see them before." The Korthak ships moved fast. They spread out around the Harmony's Edge like a net. Soon, the Zelakari ship was trapped. There was no way to escape. The hunter ships pointed their weapons at the peaceful research vessel. Vextai felt his heart beating fast. The Korthak were the most dangerous aliens in this part of space. They were big and strong and loved to fight. They caught other aliens and made them fight in their arenas for fun. They also sold aliens as slaves to make money. The captain knew his ship was in big trouble. The Harmony's Edge was built for exploring, not fighting. It had shields to protect against space rocks, but not against weapons. The Korthak ships had big guns that could destroy his ship easily. "Send a help message," Vextai told his communications officer. The officer pressed buttons on his control panel. A signal went out into space asking for help. But Vextai knew it would take a long time for help to come. They were very far from Zelakari space. No friendly ships were close enough to save them. One of the Korthak ships came closer. It was the biggest one. The name Bloodfang was written on its side in red letters. This ship called the Harmony's Edge on the radio. A rough voice came through the speakers. It was the voice of a Korthak warrior. "This is War Commander Skarneth of the Bloodfang. You are now our prisoners." Vextai took a deep breath and answered, "This is Captain Vextai of the Harmony's Edge. We are peaceful explorers. We have done nothing wrong." The Korthak commander laughed. It was a mean sound. "You exist. That is wrong enough for us. Your people will make good slaves. Your ship has valuable parts we can sell." The captain looked around at his crew. They were all scared. Some of them were shaking. The Zelakari had heard stories about what happened to aliens caught by the Korthak. The stories were very bad. "We will give you our ship," Vextai said. "Just let my crew go free." "No," Skarneth said. "You will all come with us. You will work in our mines or fight in our arenas. If you try to run, we will destroy your ship and everyone on it." The 6 hunter ships moved closer. Their weapons were pointed at the Harmony's Edge. Each ship was much bigger than the Zelakari vessel. Each ship had enough firepower to destroy 10 ships like the Harmony's Edge. Nala Tik checked her instruments again. She was looking for any way to escape. But the Korthak had planned this attack well. Every direction was blocked. If the Harmony's Edge tried to run, the hunter ships would catch it easily. "Captain," the science officer whispered, "our engines are not fast enough. Our shields are not strong enough. We cannot fight them." Vextai nodded sadly. He had been in space for many years, but he had never been in a situation like this. The Zelakari Consortium had treaties with most alien races. Everyone respected the peaceful blue-skinned explorers, but the Korthak did not care about treaties. They only cared about money and power. The communications officer looked up from his station. "Sir, our help signal has been sent, but the nearest consortium ship is 4 days away." 4 days. Vextai knew they did not have 4 days. The Korthak would board their ship soon. His crew would be taken away to become slaves or gladiators. He had failed to protect them. Skarneth spoke again over the radio. "You have 10 minutes to prepare for boarding. Do not try to destroy your computers or your cargo. If you do, we will make your deaths very slow and painful." The bridge became very quiet. The only sounds were the humming of the ship's engines and the beeping of the computers. Every member of the crew knew they were about to lose their freedom. Some of them had families back home. They might never see them again. Vextai sat down in his captain's chair. He felt very tired and very sad. He had always believed that being peaceful and kind would protect his people. But now he learned that there were aliens in space who did not care about peace and kindness. The Korthak ships moved even closer. Soon they would dock with the Harmony's edge. Soon the nightmare would begin. The captain closed his eyes and wished that somehow someone would come to save them. But he knew that no one was coming. They were alone in the dark space, surrounded by enemies who wanted to hurt them. The 10 minutes felt like 10 hours. But finally, Skarneth's voice came over the radio again. "Time is up. Prepare to be boarded." War Commander Skarneth stood on the bridge of the Bloodfang and smiled. His teeth were sharp and yellow. His red eyes glowed with pleasure. This was a good day for hunting. The Zelakari ship was trapped, and there was no way for it to escape. Skarneth was a big alien, even for a Korthak. His skin was dark green and covered with scars from many battles. He wore black armor with spikes on the shoulders. On his belt hung a plasma sword that had killed many enemies. He was proud of being a hunter and a warrior. The Korthak had been following this Zelakari ship for 3 months. They waited for it to go far away from its home space. Now the Harmony's edge was alone, with no friends to help it. It was perfect for what Skarneth had planned. "Lieutenant Graktos," the commander called to his second-in-command. "What does the scan show?" Graktos was smaller than his commander, but just as mean. He looked at his computer screen and grinned. "The ship has 12 crew members, all Zelakari. No weapons, no fighter ships. They also have quantum computing cores worth a lot of money." "Good," Skarneth said. "The Zelakari will bring high prices at the slave markets. Their big brains make them useful workers, and the computers will make us rich." The war commander looked at the tactical display. 6 Korthak hunter ships surrounded the enemy vessel. Each ship was painted black and red. Each ship had many weapons. The ships were called Bloodfang, Razor's Edge, Nightstalker, Iron Claw, Shadow Strike, and Death's Head. Together, they could destroy a small fleet. Skarneth had commanded this hunting pack for 5 years. They had captured hundreds of aliens from many different races. Some became slaves in the mines. Others fought in the gladiator arenas for the entertainment of Korthak crowds. All of them made money for Skarneth and his warriors. "Commander," said the communications officer, "the aliens sent a distress signal." All the Korthak on the bridge started laughing. It was a rough, ugly sound. They thought it was funny that the Zelakari were asking for help. Everyone knew that no help would come. "Let them call for help," Skarneth said. "Their friends are too far away. By the time anyone comes looking for them, we will be long gone." The war commander walked to the main viewing screen. He could see the Harmony's edge floating in space. It looked small and helpless compared to his hunter ships. The Zelakari vessel had smooth curves and was painted white and blue. It was built for peace, not war. Skarneth pressed a button on his command chair. This opened a channel to all 6 hunter ships. "Attention, all ship commanders. We will board the target vessel in standard formation. Iron Claw and Shadow Strike will dock on the left side. Razor's Edge and Nightstalker will dock on the right side. Death's Head will cover the engines. Bloodfang will take the bridge." Voices came back over the radio. Each ship commander confirmed they understood the orders. The Korthak had done this many times before. They knew exactly how to capture a ship without damaging the valuable parts. "What about the crew?" asked Captain Vorthak from the Iron Claw. "Take them alive if possible," Skarneth answered. "Dead slaves bring no money. But if they resist, kill them. We only need a few alive to work the computers." The war commander decided to have some fun with his prisoners before boarding them. He ordered his communications officer to send video messages to the Zelakari ship. The videos showed Korthak gladiator arenas on the home world. In the videos, captured aliens fought giant mechanical beasts. The crowd cheered when the aliens got hurt. Some aliens tried to run away, but electric walls stopped them. Others fought bravely but were torn apart by metal claws and laser weapons. The videos were designed to scare new prisoners and make them give up hope. Skarneth watched the videos and remembered the last time he visited the arenas. He had brought a group of human prisoners there 6 months ago. The humans had been very entertaining. They fought harder than most aliens. Some of them even won a few matches before they died. "Sir," Graktos said, "the target ship is trying to boost power to its engines." "Let them try," the commander laughed. "Their engines are too weak. Even if they could run, where would they go? We have the system surrounded." The lieutenant checked his sensors again. "They are also trying to strengthen their shields." "Their shields are for protection against space rocks," Skarneth said. "They will not stop our plasma cannons. If they do not surrender, we will cut their ship open like a tin can." The war commander opened a channel to the Zelakari ship again. This time he wanted to break their spirit completely. "Captain Vextai, do you see the videos we sent you? That is where you and your crew are going. You will fight for the entertainment of our people. If you are lucky, you might live for a few weeks." No answer came from the Harmony's edge. "Maybe they will try to fight us," Graktos said hopefully. "It has been boring lately. I want to see some action." "These are Zelakari," Skarneth replied. "They do not fight. They are too soft and weak. They will surrender without firing a single shot." The hunter ships moved closer to their target. Each ship was much larger than the research vessel. The Bloodfang alone was 5 times bigger than the Harmony's edge. Its hull was covered with weapon ports and armor plating. Battle scars showed where enemy ships had tried and failed to damage it. Skarneth looked at the countdown timer on his screen. 5 more minutes until boarding time. He could already taste the victory. This would be an easy capture with good profits. The Zelakari computers alone would pay for the fuel costs of this hunting trip. "Prepare the boarding pods," he ordered. "I want shock troops ready for immediate deployment. Bring stun weapons for the prisoners and cutting tools for the ship's hull." The crew of the Bloodfang hurried to follow orders. In the launch bays, Korthak warriors put on their armor and checked their weapons. The boarding pods were small ships designed to attach to enemy vessels and cut through their hulls. Each pod carried 6 fully armed soldiers. "Commander," the sensor officer called out, "I am detecting something strange at the edge of the system." Skarneth turned to look at the sensor display. There were some small blips on the screen, but they were very far away. "What is it?" "Unknown contacts, sir. 3 ships. They just appeared out of nowhere." The war commander was not worried. 3 ships could not stop 6 hunter ships. Besides, the unknown vessels were millions of kilometers away. Even if they were warships, they would arrive too late to help the Zelakari. "Identify them," Skarneth ordered. The sensor officer worked at his controls for several seconds. "Sir, the computer says they are human ships." All the Korthak on the bridge started laughing again. Humans were known for making big threats but doing nothing. They talked about justice and protecting the weak, but they usually arrived after the fighting was over. "Humans," Skarneth said with contempt. "They will probably send us a message telling us to surrender. Then they will file a complaint with the Galactic Council. By the time they actually do something, we will be halfway home." The war commander had fought humans before. They were tricky and used unusual tactics, but they were not stronger than the Korthak. Their ships were fast, but not as heavily armed as hunter ships. Most importantly, they were too far away to matter. "Should we worry about them, sir?" Graktos asked. "No," Skarneth said. "Continue with the boarding operation." The humans can watch if they want to. Maybe they will learn something about real warfare. The countdown timer reached 0. It was time to capture the Zelakari ship and claim the prize. At the far edge of the Kepler 442 system, space began to glow with blue-white light. The light grew brighter and brighter until it looked like a small star. Then the light disappeared, and 3 human ships appeared where it had been. The largest ship was the UES Iron Thunder. It was a heavy cruiser built for war. Its hull was gray metal covered with weapon systems. Along its sides were rows of plasma cannons and missile tubes. On top was a massive railgun that could shoot metal bullets at incredible speed. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Iron Thunder and studied the tactical display. He was a tall man with short brown hair and serious gray eyes. He had been fighting in space for 15 years. His crew trusted him completely because he had never lost a battle. "What do we have, Lisa?" Morrison asked his tactical officer. Commander Lisa Park sat at her station and read the sensor data. She was a smart woman who could analyze any battle situation quickly. Her fingers moved over the controls as she gathered information about the enemy ships. 6 Korthak hunter ships surrounding a single Zelakari vessel, she reported. The aliens are in a classic kill formation. The research ship has no chance of escape. Morrison's face became hard and angry. 3 months ago, Korthak raiders had attacked the human colony of New Austin. They had taken over 200 men, women, and children as slaves. The Terran Federation had sent ships to rescue them, but they arrived too late. The colonists were already gone. Intelligence Officer Ryan Cole checked his computer files. He was a young man with blonde hair who was very good at gathering information about enemy forces. "Sir, these ship signatures match vessels from the New Austin raid." The captain's hands made fists. These were the same Korthak who had taken human children from their homes. Morrison had sworn an oath to make them pay for their crimes. Now he had his chance. "Range to target?" Morrison asked. Lieutenant Amy Ross worked at the navigation station. She was an expert pilot who could fly the Iron Thunder through any dangerous situation. 4 million kilometers in closing, sir. The Korthak have not seen us yet. They are focused on their prey." Chief Weapons Officer Dan Wright smiled as he prepared the ship's guns for battle. He was a big man who loved his job. The Iron Thunder carried the most advanced weapons in the human fleet. Wright knew exactly how to use them. "All weapon systems are online and ready," Wright reported. "Plasma batteries charged, quantum torpedoes loaded, railgun ready for firing." Morrison looked at the display again. The Korthak ships were much larger than his vessels, but size was not everything. Human ships were built for speed and precision. Human tactics were based on hitting the enemy hard and fast before they could react. The 2 destroyer ships that came with the Iron Thunder were the Storm Rider and the Lightning Strike. They were smaller but very fast. Each destroyer carried enough firepower to destroy a ship twice its size. "Open a channel to Storm Rider and Lightning Strike," Morrison ordered. The faces of the 2 destroyer captains appeared on the communication screen. Captain Bill Hayes commanded the Storm Rider. Captain Susan Clark commanded the Lightning Strike. Both were experienced officers who had fought the Korthak before. "Gentlemen, lady," Morrison said, "we have 6 Korthak hunters about to capture innocent civilians. I want attack pattern Delta 7. We are going to show these slavers what happens when they hunt in human space." Captain Hayes nodded. "Understood, sir. Storm Rider is ready." Captain Clark smiled grimly. "Lightning Strike is locked and loaded. Let's make them pay." Morrison turned to his weapons officer. "Dan, I want the first shot to count. Target their formation leader with quantum torpedoes, full spread." Wright's fingers danced over his controls. 12 torpedo tubes opened along the sides of the Iron Thunder. Each torpedo carried a quantum warhead that could punch through any known armor. "Torpedoes armed and ready, sir." The captain looked around his bridge. Every officer was at their station and ready for battle. The Iron Thunder had the best crew in the human fleet. They had trained for situations exactly like this one. "Lisa, analysis of enemy formation?" Morrison asked. Commander Park studied the tactical display carefully. "Standard Korthak hunter formation, sir. They have the research ships surrounded, but their ships are too close together. If we hit them from multiple directions at once, they will not be able to support each other. Exactly what I was thinking, the captain said. Ryan, any intelligence on the lead ship? Officer Cole checked his files again. The largest ship is the Bloodfang, commanded by War Commander Skarneth. He is wanted for war crimes against 12 different species. The Federation has a bounty of 5 million credits on his head. Morrison's smile was cold and dangerous. Today we collect that bounty. Amy, bring us into attack position, maximum speed. Lieutenant Ross pushed the engines to full power. The Iron Thunder shot forward like a bullet. Behind it, the two destroyers spread out to attack from different angles. The human ships moved much faster than anything the Korthak had ever seen. Sir, Park said, the enemy still has not detected us. They are completely focused on the Zelikari ship. Good, Morrison replied. Let's keep it that way until we are ready to strike. Dan, are the torpedoes programmed for simultaneous impact? Wright nodded. Yes, sir. All 12 torpedoes will hit the target at exactly the same time, even though they are launched from different distances. The captain watched the range counter tick down. 3 million kilometers, 2 million, 1 million. Soon they would be close enough to attack. The Korthak hunters had no idea that death was racing toward them at incredible speed. Morrison thought about the human colonists who had been taken from New Austin, men and women who just wanted to build new lives on a distant world. Children who would never see their parents again. The Korthak had shown no mercy to innocent people. Now it was time for justice. All ships, prepare to engage, Morrison said into his communicator. We are going to hit them so hard they will not know what happened. Remember, these are the same aliens who took our people. Show them what human justice looks like. The range counter reached 800,000 kilometers. This was the perfect distance for their attack. The quantum torpedoes would arrive before the Korthak could react. The destroyers were in position to flank the enemy formation. Captain Morrison took a deep breath. In a few seconds, the battle would begin. The Korthak thought they were safe because they had more ships and bigger guns. They were about to learn that humans did not fight fair. Humans fought to win. All ships, Morrison said calmly. Execute attack pattern Delta 7. Fire at will. The first quantum torpedoes left the Iron Thunder like streaks of blue fire. 12 deadly missiles raced through space toward the Korthak formation. They moved so fast that they looked like lines of light against the black sky. War Commander Skarneth was still laughing about the distant human ships when his sensor officer screamed a warning. Incoming missiles, multiple contacts. The Korthak commander spun around to look at his screens. 12 bright dots were racing toward his fleet at incredible speed. He had never seen missiles move that fast before. Where did they come from? The human ships, sir. They fired from extreme range. Skarneth felt his first moment of real fear. No one could hit targets accurately from such a distance. The humans had to be lucky or incredibly skilled. Activate all defenses. Shoot down those missiles. But it was too late. The quantum torpedoes had been programmed to arrive at exactly the same moment. All 12 warheads hit the Death's Head at the same time. The explosion was so bright that everyone had to look away. When the light faded, the Death's Head was gone. Where the hunter ship had been floating, there was only twisted metal and burning gas. One of Skarneth's 6 ships had been destroyed in a single attack. Impossible! The war commander shouted. No ship can fire that accurately from so far away. But the human attack was just beginning. The Storm Rider and Lightning Strike had used the torpedo strike as cover to get close to the Korthak formation. Now they attacked from 2 different directions at the same time. Captain Bill Hayes brought the Storm Rider under the enemy formation and opened fire with all weapons. Plasma bolts shot upward into the engine sections of 2 hunter ships. The Razor's Edge lost power and started spinning out of control. The Iron Claw tried to turn and fire back, but the destroyer was already gone. At the same time, Captain Susan Clark piloted the Lightning Strike in a maneuver that should have torn her ship apart. She dove straight down through the middle of the Korthak formation, firing plasma cannons as fast as they could charge. The Lightning Strike moved so fast that the enemy gunners could not track it. Plasma bolts struck the Shadow Strike along its entire length. Armor plating melted and fell away. Internal explosions shook the hunter ship from front to back. War Commander Skarneth watched in horror as his carefully planned formation fell apart. His ships were bigger and had more weapons, but they could not hit targets that moved like the human vessels. The destroyers flew like fighter planes instead of warships. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human destroyers," Skarneth ordered. "Ignore the research ship." The remaining Korthak hunters tried to follow orders, but the humans were too fast and too smart. Every time a hunter ship turned to shoot at one destroyer, the other destroyer would attack from a different direction. Captain Morrison brought the Iron Thunder closer to the battle. His heavy cruiser was not as fast as the destroyers, but it had much bigger guns. Chief Weapons Officer Dan Wright targeted the Night Stalker with the ship's experimental railgun. "Railgun charged and ready," Wright reported. "Fire," Morrison said calmly. The railgun shot a piece of tungsten metal at 20% of light speed. The projectile was only the size of a baseball, but it hit with the force of a nuclear bomb. It went completely through the Night Stalker from front to back, leaving a perfectly round hole. The hunter ship broke in half and exploded. Debris scattered in all directions. Another of Skarneth's ships was destroyed. On the bridge of the Harmony's Edge, Captain Vextai and his crew watched the battle with amazement. The human ships moved like dancers, always in the right place at the right time. They seemed to know what the Korthak would do before the Korthak knew it themselves. "How are they doing this?" Science Officer Nalatik whispered. Vextai shook his head. "I do not know. Human tactics are unlike anything I have ever seen." The Korthak had lost 3 ships in less than 4 minutes. The remaining 3 hunters, Bloodfang, Razor's Edge, and Iron Claw, tried to escape in different directions, but the humans were ready for this too. Commander Lisa Park on the Iron Thunder had studied Korthak tactics for years. She knew exactly how they would react when their formation was broken. "Storm Rider, intercept the ship heading for the outer planets. Lightning Strike, take the one heading for the asteroid field. We will handle the formation leader." The Storm Rider chased after the Iron Claw as it tried to reach the edge of the system. Captain Hayes pushed his engines beyond their normal limits. The destroyer caught up to the fleeing hunter ship just as it reached the outer planets. "Target their engines," Hayes ordered. "We want prisoners, not wreckage." Precision plasma strikes disabled the Iron Claw's engines without destroying the ship. The hunter vessel drifted helplessly in space, unable to move or fight back. The lightning strike pursued the Razor's Edge into the asteroid field. Captain Clark flew her ship between huge floating rocks, following the Korthak vessel deeper into the maze of stone and metal. The Razor's Edge tried to hide behind a large asteroid, but Clark was too experienced to fall for such a simple trick. She brought her ship around the rock and fired at point-blank range. The hunter ship surrendered immediately. That left only the Bloodfang, with War Commander Skarneth aboard. He was trying to escape toward the inner system, where he hoped to use the planets as cover, but the Iron Thunder was faster and had longer-range weapons. "This is Captain Morrison of the Terran Federation," came a voice over the radio. "War Commander Skarneth, you are under arrest for war crimes against humanity and other species. Surrender your ship immediately." Skarneth screamed in rage and frustration. "Never. I will die before I surrender to humans." "That can be arranged," Morrison replied coldly. The Iron Thunder fired a single quantum torpedo at the Bloodfang's engines. The explosion disabled the ship's propulsion but left the crew alive. Skarneth's flagship was now as helpless as the research ship he had planned to capture. In less than 10 minutes, the human task force had destroyed or captured 6 Korthak hunter ships. They had done it without losing a single vessel or even taking serious damage. The attack had been so fast and precise that the Korthak never had a chance to fight back effectively. Captain Morrison opened a channel to the Harmony's Edge. "This is Captain Morrison of the UES Iron Thunder. You are safe now. We are sending medical teams to check on your crew." Captain Vextai could barely speak. His voice shook with emotion as he replied, "Thank you, Captain Morrison. You saved our lives. How can we ever repay you?" "You do not need to repay us," Morrison said. "Protecting innocent people is what we do. It is who we are." The human ships moved quickly to secure their prisoners. Captain Morrison knew that captured Korthak could be very dangerous, even when their ships were disabled. He sent boarding parties to each hunter vessel to make sure the crews could not cause any more trouble. The Storm Rider docked with the Iron Claw first. Captain Hayes led a team of Marines in powered armor through the airlock. The Korthak crew tried to fight. But human weapons were more advanced. Stun blasts knocked out the enemy warriors without killing them. Ironclaw secured, Hayes reported over the radio. 23 prisoners in custody. The lightning strike had an easier time with the Razor's Edge. The crew of that ship surrendered as soon as they saw the human Marines. They knew they had no chance against soldiers wearing armor that could stop plasma bolts. Razor's Edge secured, Captain Clark reported. 15 prisoners, no resistance. But the Bloodfang would not be so easy. War Commander Skarnath was still angry and looking for a fight. When Captain Morrison's Marines tried to board his ship, the Korthak fought back with everything they had. Morrison led the boarding party himself. He wore black armor covered with sensors and weapons. His plasma rifle could cut through metal walls. Behind him came 12 Marines, all experts in ship-to-ship combat. The corridors of the Bloodfang were dark and filled with smoke. Korthak warriors hid behind corners and fired at the humans with their own weapons. But human armor was too strong. The alien weapons could not hurt the Marines. Morrison and his team moved through the ship like a machine. They used stun grenades to knock out groups of enemies. They used sensors to see through walls and smoke. In 20 minutes, they had captured the entire ship. The last place to secure was the bridge. Morrison kicked open the doors and found War Commander Skarnath waiting for him. The Korthak commander held a plasma sword in his clawed hands. His red eyes burned with hate. "Come and fight me, human!" Skarnath roared. "I will cut you apart." Morrison did not waste time with words. He raised his plasma rifle and fired once. The stun blast hit Skarnath in the chest and knocked him unconscious. The mighty war commander fell to the floor like a broken toy. "Bloodfang secured," Morrison reported. "Skarnath is in custody." With all the enemy ships captured, the humans began searching them for information. Intelligence Officer Ryan Cole connected his computers to the Korthak databases. What he found made him very angry. "Captain," Cole said over the radio, "these ships have detailed maps of slave camps throughout Korthak space. They also have lists of captured species and where they are being held." Morrison smiled grimly. This information would help the Federation plan rescue missions to free thousands of slaves. The Korthak had made a big mistake by keeping such detailed records. "Download everything," Morrison ordered. "This intelligence will save a lot of lives." Meanwhile, on the Harmony's edge, human medical teams were checking on the Zelakari crew. The aliens were not hurt, but they were very scared and confused. They had never seen anything like the human attack. Captain Vextai met with Morrison on his ship's bridge. The Zelakari captain was still shaking from the experience. "Captain Morrison, I have never seen ships move like yours. How did you destroy the Korthak so easily?" Morrison sat down and spoke gently. "We have been fighting the Korthak for many years. We study their tactics and learn their weaknesses. More importantly, we never give up when innocent people are in danger." Science Officer Nalatik was recording everything for the Zelakari archives. "The Consortium Council will want to know about human military capabilities. Your ships seem to violate the laws of physics." "We do not violate physical laws," Morrison explained. "We just use them in ways other species have not thought of. Human engineers are very good at making ships do things they were not designed to do." Captain Vextai looked at Morrison with great respect. "The Korthak said no one would come to help us. They said we were too far from civilization." "Distance does not matter," Morrison replied. "The Terran Federation protects anyone who cannot protect themselves. That is our promise to the galaxy." The interrogation of the Korthak prisoners began immediately. The humans used truth serums and brain scanners to get information from the captured warriors. They learned about planned raids on other peaceful species. War Commander Skarnath was the last to be questioned. When he woke up in the detention cell, he found Morrison waiting for him. The human captain sat calmly in a chair, watching the alien prisoner. "Where am I?" Skarnath growled. "You are in a Federation detention cell," Morrison said. "You will be tried for war crimes against multiple species. The evidence against you is overwhelming." The Korthak commander laughed bitterly. "You think you have won? There are hundreds of ships like mine in Korthak space. You cannot stop us all." Morrison stood up and walked closer to the cell. "You are wrong. Every ship you lose makes you weaker. Every prisoner we free inspires others to resist. Every victory we win shows the galaxy that bullies can be stopped. Humans are just one species, Skarneth snarled. You cannot fight the entire Korthak hegemony. We do not fight alone, Morrison said. We fight for every peaceful species in the galaxy. We fight for justice and freedom. Those are ideas that cannot be conquered. The captain prepared to leave, but he turned back for one final message. Tell your leaders what happened here. Tell them that the Terran Federation is watching. Tell them that if they attack innocent people again, we will find them. We will stop them, and we will make them pay. As the human ships prepared to leave the Kepler 442 system, they sent the Zelakari vessel safely on its way home. Captain Vextai transmitted a message to Consortium Space, telling everyone about the human rescue. The captured Korthak ships would be taken back to Federation space for study. The prisoners would stand trial for their crimes. The intelligence data would be used to plan more rescue missions. Captain Morrison stood on the bridge of the Iron Thunder and watched the stars. Somewhere out there, other innocent people were being threatened by bullies and slavers. But now those criminals would know that humanity was watching. Commander Lisa Park joined him at the viewing window. Sir, we have received confirmation that the Zelakari ship reached safety. They are sending our battle record to every world in their territory. Morrison nodded. Good. Let the word spread. Let every slaver and raider in the galaxy know that humanity stands guard. The 3 human ships activated their slip space drives and disappeared into the blue-white light. Behind them, they left a message that would echo throughout the galaxy for years to come. The message was simple but powerful. Humanity would not tolerate the abuse of innocent people. No matter where crimes against peace occurred, human ships would come. Human justice would follow. And human determination would never give up. In the days that followed, the story of the battle spread to every civilized world. The peaceful species celebrated, knowing they had powerful protectors. The criminal species grew worried, knowing their days of easy prey were ending. The Korthak hegemony sent angry messages to the Federation, demanding the return of their ships and warriors. The Federation's reply was short and clear. Justice is not negotiable. War Commander Skarneth and his surviving crew were sentenced to life imprisonment for their crimes. The intelligence from their ships led to 17 successful rescue missions, freeing over 3,000 slaves from Korthak camps. And in space, human patrol ships continued their watch, ready to respond whenever innocent people called for help. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity would always answer the call for justice, no matter how far they had to travel or how dangerous the enemy might be. The age of easy prey was over. The age of human protection had begun.